I hold here in my formerly nicotine-stained fingers a copy of Illuminations by Valerie Lute. Now, if you're sitting there saying, didn't you just give us a review yesterday, one day ago? What's he giving us so many reviews for? This one caught me off guard. I didn't intend to make a review, but found a couple of unique things here, and just look how thin is this little chapbook here. First thing is a surreal story where a traveler has heard of a land where people live without heads. It's rumored that once in this land, once someone becomes 7 years old, off goes the head and they live without their head. So she travels there to see, is this really true? And she gets there and sure enough, here's all these people walking around without heads. Now she goes to the temple. She wants to visit this temple, see what's going on, and there's a monk there who is not yet, a monk who is a pilgrim. He showed up there, he still has his head. They introduce each other, and he shows her around the temple. For example, how do they eat there without a head? Something pretty interesting, right? How do you eat without a head? And then also, who prepares the food? Who chops the vegetables? As a matter of fact, while they're in there chopping vegetables, somebody cuts his thumb. And the monk with the head tells her, he's a new guy, don't worry about it. Then, unexpectedly, there's a big noise outside the temple. And the monk with the head, the new initiate, says, stay here, I got to see what's going on. He runs out there, and you know what's happened? All the people in this land are wanting their heads back. So what they did, they went and dug up all the old heads from everyone that was 7 years old, reattached the heads to their bodies. See all these grown-ups with children's heads on their bodies, and they're coming to storm this temple. They're saying, we don't want to live without heads. Here we come. Anyway, the guy with the head, he repels them. But he tells the woman who's a visitor, now that you've seen this, you have been polluted. I got to take your head. I'm sorry, come on back. And he hustles her back into a room where there is an apparatus and a sword for removing the head. Also, there's an interesting prose poem here at the end. Actually, it's titled Illuminations, where the chapbook gets its title. And that's what really prompted me to review this. This is an odd poem. It has a weird rhyme and weird slant rhyme, and it's subtle. And I don't like rhyming poems for the most part because they can't be subtle. They come out sounding like a nursery rhyme or a car commercial jingle, something like this. So this is a fairly long poem, a couple of pages, but listen to this. Some call him the boy poet. Some call him God of death. I loved him like obscenities, praised his every breath. Together we damned our souls and sucked on tangerines. We kept our piss in jam jars to smash on passing cars. He threw up crime in hospitals. He was pleasurably mad. He was neither flesh nor air, neither honey nor the wasp. He willed himself through hookah pipes and kissed each lung he licked. He chewed straight through my heart one night, one slithering midnight dank. He left me with a gaping wound all round and charred and black. I stood frozen for a season's time, explored each corner of my mind, lived as simple as a monk, yet dreamed as Satan's spawn. Then I learned explosions aren't the only way to die. At last I can no longer stand living as half ghost, and now I seek the boy again wherever he might roam. I follow him through moons and noons, through some red dawns new, watch him haunt the icy streams to draw men from Elysian dreams, string sinners like puppets from their beds, turn hearts to puddles and drink them to the dregs. Then tonight, this autumn's eve, a zephyr rocks us both. He has not seen me stalking him like some starving beast until the hole within my heart sings like a sobbing wolf. He peers against the blinding mists and turns to will-o-wisp. Give me all your secrets, I shout, followed with a curse, for only he knows how to live without care for laws or rights. Just before he disappears for Africa or Spain, he leaves me with a poem, though he'd never use that name. I wanted to be everyone, both God and lowly man, saint and disembodied sin, a gun, a bullet wound. I've grown so large I eat the world, so small I perish in the wind. I seduced all that contradicts, and what I found is this. Each heartbeat is a work of art, for each heartbeat I'm reborn. If I never wrote a single word, my masterpiece yet would live. I stand upon the mountain cliffs, alone and shivering cold, and realize though I lack his nerve, I can still say the same. Some interesting rhyming scheme there. In fact, it's not even a scheme, I guess you say. Well, let's call it, I've never seen a prose poem that has the slant rhyme and hard rhyme subtly hidden within the stanzas. So let's call this the Lute rhyme. I've never heard of a scheme like this. If you've heard what I just read there, if you've heard a rhyming that comes like that in prose poem, put it in the comments below. I'd like to see it. All right? Little unexpected review there. Here's a thing about this. The way I came across this book, I follow this author, Valerie Lute, on social media. And this book is self-published. And the reason a lot of books are self-published, you hear a self-pub writer saying, oh, the publishing world don't get me. I'm a genius. I'm ahead of my time here. No, the reason you self-publish is because your stuff sucks. This is obviously an exception to the rule there. And I've lucked into it simply by following this author on social media. So maybe that's a trick. Just follow authors, read their posts, and you might luck into something good like this. All right?